I woke up this morning and I was kind of sad. It's the 4th of July, and I just get this horrible feeling that this might be one of our last 4th of Julys if we don't pull our shit together in this country. I mean, one of our last 4th of Julys where we're considered a democratic republic. I know it might sound dramatic, but think about what's going on in our nation. I think folks just don't get it, and I'm talking about mostly white people. They don't get it. Freedom isn't free. It's like we've forgotten about the people who came before us and lost their lives and fought for all these little freedoms. And it's like we've forgotten all about that. And don't get me wrong, our founding fathers were not perfect men. My God, they supported the enslavement of human beings to benefit themselves. They enslaved, most of them had slaves. They were wealthy, and although they knew it was wrong, they did it anyway. And that's unconscionable. Most of what I do online is educate white America to try to understand that our nation has not allowed liberty and justice for all, to all Americans equally. Not even close. Systemic racism is embedded in every institution we have in America, in the United States. And most white folks don't even know our own racial history, okay? It's way past time for white Americans to learn our own racial history and take some responsibility. I mean, we should be supporting real equity for Black, Brown, Indigenous, African-American people. But today, I never thought I'd be saying this. I think we have a bigger problem. I mean, I never thought I'd be saying this, but it's one that I certainly never dreamed that I'd face in my lifetime. I think we're in danger of losing our democratic republic to authoritarian rule. This democratic republic, our very imperfect, work-in-progress nation that has these amazing ideologies, but somehow we just cannot seem to sever our sick love affair with white supremacy. More white people today are learning about our past, our true barbaric past, and they're realizing that they had whitewashed history books in school and that they weren't getting the complete story, and they're learning that they've been lied to. We've been lied to by the media, by propaganda from the wealthiest elite who profit off of making sure that we never unite with people in numerical minority groups and historically marginalized groups. They benefit. We're learning finally to talk about racism and to just suck it up. A lot of us are, but not enough. Some of us are learning to recognize racism, that it's systemic. It's not about us, it's a system. But why not use our white privilege to stand up for what's right? Because ultimately, it's best for us too. It wouldn't kill us to use our privilege to support our fellow humans in their quest for not more than we have, but just equality, equity. We're not all the same, but my God, at least we should have the same chances. White America has a lot to learn, and don't get me wrong. I'm just afraid it might be too late. I don't know how to handle, I have no excuse or there's nothing I can say that will help with the founding fathers knowing they owned slaves and supported this inhumane, barbaric slavery. I realize it's impossible to reconcile the idea that slave-owning founding fathers may have written this Constitution that, if given time to mature, could be able to be amended and shaped into something that's going to give real equality, living up to our ideals, not just talking about them. I mean, it was a brilliant piece of writing from men who are incredibly flawed. And I have no answers. But what I do believe is that none of this is going to matter if we become a regime. And I think we all know that's kind of seems like what's going on. America is a young country, and history paints us a grim picture of what happens in the future for nations like ours. We all know the path that democratic republics can take when capitalism is left, our capitalist economy goes unchecked and it becomes a lifestyle. We can either adjust and the political pendulum will swing to a more holistic global philosophy creating social, economic, and a judicial system necessary for equity, or we'll become a regime ruled by a dictator. We think we have a rough time with human rights for non-white folks and non-wealthy people. Just wait till we have a dictatorship. I believe, despite the fact that the creators of this Constitution were humans and were flawed in morality, they were unwilling to practice what they preach. This document is kind of all we have right now, and it could save us. It could save our republic. So I'm sure hoping it's worthy of its praise, however imperfect its founders are and were, because we all know there's going to be no individual freedom and God-given rights to liberties when we're in a dictatorship. This dissonance begs the question: do the morals, or in this case the immorality of the creators of the Constitution, mean the end product is equally as flawed? I don't know. But people forget that at the time this was written, the idea of a government of the people, by the people, for the people, where the rights were endowed by their creator and not the state, was kind of unheard of at the time. This was really cutting edge stuff, and we forget about men like Nathaniel Hale, who was 21 years old when he was hanged for spying for the British. And this is a kid, he was a teacher. He said, as he's being killed, my only regret is that I have but one life to lose for my country, or to give to, I don't know if I'm getting the words right, but my God, early generations of Americans pledged their life to the cause of individual freedom and limited government that is for the people. And right now we don't have a government for the people. And we've been warned over and over again that eternal vigilance would be required to preserve that freedom that we have. And this generation has forgotten that freedom isn't free, and that people who came before us and lost their lives and gave their lives or had their lives taken did this for the freedoms that we bitch and complain about now. We're not a perfect nation. Systemic racism is destroying us. But we have to educate those who use fear to make decisions rather than using their humanity. White folks need to understand that when we do nothing, while our fellow humans have their civil and human rights taken away and diminished, that it only makes us one step closer to having ours taken away. The wealthiest elites who run our nation are greedy, and they are not going down without a fight. It's time to unite and make changes so that our Constitution, this made by these flawed men, this amazing document, can be for all the people, not just the white ones. Ideally, we could deconstruct it, and it's not going to happen. It's too late. We have this now. It's time to make our Constitution one for all Americans. Please, I'm begging you, vote anyone but Trump. Our democratic republic depends upon it. Thanks for listening. If you like your truth, if you like news that, if you like your news served with a side order of truth, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're not a perfect country, but my God, we could be.